I was the recognized school beauty of Central High School. I once half-jokingly said that I would only date the top student. Austin worked hard for this and got into a prestigious university as the top student in the city. Everyone said that he and I were a perfect match and that we would eventually end up together. Years later, I became a semi-famous actress, and he became a hotshot in the tech industry. At the class reunion, he rarely attended. Our friends started teasing us. But he grabbed my wrist tightly and threatened, "Sophia, if you dare to trouble Ruby again, watch out." He took away my awards and roles for her and forced me out. I stood by the sea for a long time and threw away the ring I had cherished for so long. Later, he rushed backstage with red eyes looking for me. "Sophie, now my company is #1 in the industry. Can you give me another chance?" Chapter 1. On the first day of school, I became the recognized school beauty of the entire school. During every break, the back window of the classroom was filled with boys' fluffy heads. Every day, there were new love letters in my desk. There was always someone asking what kind of boys I liked and what my standards for choosing a boyfriend were. Half-jokingly, I answered that I only wanted to date the top student, but I was the top student. Until the second semester of senior year, Austin emerged as a dark horse. On the day the mock exam results were announced, he pointed with a smile to the top spot on the progress list and asked me, "Sophia, do you know how hard it is to improve by one spot?" I didn't take a single day off during the entire holiday. I went through several rounds of real test papers from all over the country, almost going blind. After the college entrance exam, I hope you will keep your word. Everyone in the grade knew that Austin was pursuing me. Almost all the teachers treated early relationships like the plague, but Austin was different. He gave his all to pursue me. Central High School was the best high school in our area, with comprehensive scores far ahead of the rest of the city. Being the top student at Central High School was almost equivalent to being the top student in the city. He sparked my competitive spirit, and I began studying hard with a vengeance. But sometimes I had to admit, the explosive power of a smart boy suddenly working hard was not to be underestimated. Math was my weak point, and I maintained high scores by doing a lot of practice problems. But math was Austin's strongest subject. That year, he widened the score gap with me by solving the last big math problem in the college entrance exam and was admitted to a prestigious university as the top student in the city. As soon as he got his report card, he couldn't wait to confess his feelings to me. I still remember that day. Amid the cicadas' summer chorus, Austin ran toward me from afar, his white shirt billowing like a white sail, his eyes shone like stars, and his brilliant smile made the midday sun pale in comparison. "Sophia, I'm the top student now. I can finally tell you that I like you." On the day of the graduation trip, I smiled and held out my hand, watching him solemnly slide a silver ring onto my finger. "I only have this now, but soon I'll give you a gold ring. A diamond ring." Our classmates laughed and cheered, and his face turned as red as blood, his palms burning hot. I once thought we were the perfect match. A talented man and a beautiful woman. Until later, he fell in love with someone else. Chapter 2. Coming back to my senses, I found myself standing outside the private room of the hotel. Yes, today was the long-awaited high school reunion. My hand was on the doorknob, and just as I cracked it open, I heard my classmates talking about me. "Did you hear what the class monitor said? Both Sophia and Austin are coming today." Wow, that's rare. Speaking of which, they were really something back then. Yeah, especially that guy Austin. He got the highest score in the city and won the heart of the school beauty. Now he's the owner of a famous unicorn company. As for Sophia, she starred in a few dramas, but while the dramas were popular, she wasn't. Hey, why worry about her with Austin? Does she even need success?
True that.
Just as I was awkwardly standing at the door, the class monitor arrived behind me and excitedly called out my name. "Sophie, long time no see. You still look so beautiful." She pulled me inside, and my classmates quickly surrounded me, greeting me enthusiastically. A few girls I used to be close with also warmly pulled me aside to ask questions. The lively atmosphere made me feel like I was back in my school days. Just as I started to relax a bit, the door to the room opened once again. Standing in the doorway was Austin, whom I hadn't seen in a long time. He was dressed in black and looked slightly thinner, probably from the hardships of starting a business. Our classmates started teasing us, pushing me towards him, and joked, "Why didn't you two lovebirds come together?" "Yeah, Austin is late. 3 cups of penalty wine." Penalty wine. Ignoring the lively atmosphere, Austin spoke coldly. "Sophia and I broke up a long time ago." The next second, he grabbed my wrist tightly and said through gritted teeth, "Sophia, don't think you can get away by not answering my calls. If you mess with Ruby again, I won't be polite to you." After saying that, he walked away without looking back. The atmosphere turned cold instantly. Someone murmured, "Ruby." Could he be talking about the popular actress Ruby? Chapter 3. Actually, I never intentionally made things difficult for Ruby. I only said a few words when she repeatedly showed up late for no reason, acting cute and slowing down the progress of the crew. After all, for someone like me who isn't very popular, time is money. Unlike the star influencers, I make money by taking on acting jobs. Ruby blinked her innocent big eyes twice and said with an aggrieved tone, "Sophie, I know you don't like me, but even the director hasn't said anything. Who are you to criticize me? You now have the suspicion of using public office for personal revenge." She took 2 steps forward and whispered in my ear, "Is it my fault that Brother Austin likes me?" It was this one sentence that brought me unexpected attention, trending on social media for the first time. Hashtag Sophia puts on airs hashtag. Hashtag Sophia excludes Ruby hashtag. Whether it counts as using public office for personal revenge, I don't know. But did the breakdown of my relationship with Austin really have nothing to do with her? Austin and Ruby met at a party. At that time, Austin had already accumulated enough experience. His company had successfully expanded overseas, earning him his first pot of gold. Numerous investors, attracted by the scent of money, flocked to him, coincidentally, during that period. The entertainment industry was booming, and many people advised him to invest in it. Ruby was just a fledgling little idol, brought to the party by her agent. Everyone with sharp eyes knew she was there to seek resources and sponsors. Ruby was drunk and unsteady on her feet, spilled half a glass of champagne all over herself. Her light pink evening gown instantly clung wetly to her skin, revealing patches of soft white underneath the sheer fabric. Several men looked at her with smirks. Blushing furiously, she awkwardly covered her chest. Austin chivalrously took off his coat and draped it over her shoulders, rescuing her from the situation. Her agent thanked him repeatedly while taking her to change clothes.
I was also present that day.
He even joked with me, saying that young girls these days are so careless. I thought it was just a small episode, but later on, they did get to know each other. It was said that Ruby waited downstairs at his company several times to return his coat, to thank him personally, and to invite him to dinner. Such an old-fashioned tactic, right? But men love this kind of thing. And Austin, being a man, was no exception. He said Ruby was young and naive, and he couldn't understand how someone like her managed to survive in the entertainment industry. He also said Ruby, being an idol, was just a pretty face with no acting skills, but when it came time to cast the female lead for the movie he invested in, he chose Ruby without hesitation. I wasn't in a hurry to express my opinion, and instead I quietly watched him for a long time. "You seem to enjoy mentioning her lately." He turned away a bit guilty and sad. "I just think she's had a tough life. Venturing out into the world early on, she's somewhat pitiful. She's not like you, professionally trained and always excellent. Plus, I think it's important to give newcomers a chance." Ruby was indeed a newcomer, but I hadn't debuted much earlier than she had. Such noble-sounding reasons. We're both smart people. Were his words meant to insult his own intelligence or mine? I moved back to my own apartment that very night. He desperately apologized, sending flowers and gifts, insisting that I had misunderstood him. In senior year, he nearly sacrificed half his life studying hard for me to know fighting for the top score in the city during the college entrance exam was much harder than running a company. He considered it the highlight of his life. If it weren't for me, he wouldn't have achieved it. Recalling all those moments, my initially tense heart couldn't help but soften. I thought it would be good to take some time to calm down, not to be easily coaxed by him. Coincidentally, I was busy promoting my work, which I hoped to win the Best Newcomer award with. After working hard for over half a year, I put my heart into understanding my character, insisting on not using a stunt double, and several times almost fainting from crying too much in character. I didn't chase fame. I only sought professional recognition. That day was very significant to me, but I never dreamed that it was on that very day that my life would start to spiral downward on the day of the award ceremony. Austin didn't come. The Best Newcomer award, which I was determined to win, ultimately went to Ruby. When the host announced her name, the audience was in an uproar. It seemed no one expected it. The cameraman even gave me a close-up shot. I watched my disheveled and shocked self on the big screen, then looked at Ruby in her luxurious dress, smiling as she accepted the trophy and kissed it. Finally, I couldn't control my tears, and they burst out like a flood. Chapter 4. I didn't want to hear Ruby's squeaky, childish voice delivering her acceptance speech. I just wanted to find out immediately what was going on. I rushed backstage and had just pulled out my phone when Austin called. His voice was calm, devoid of any emotion. "Sophie, I had a very important matter come up at the last minute, so I couldn't attend the award ceremony." I was furious and screamed into the phone. "Your important matter was manipulating things so Ruby could win. Wasn't it, Austin? How could you?"
He paused.
"So you know everything. Ruby's mother is critically ill. She came to me pleading. She desperately wanted to achieve something to show her mother. Maybe if her mother felt a bit happier, her condition might improve. You have all the qualifications. You're just lacking a bit of luck. You still have plenty of opportunities." I didn't want to hear any more of his nonsense. I was losing my sanity, jumping up and down as I yelled, "What does her mother's illness have to do with me? What does it have to do with you? This trophy belongs to our entire team. Do you know how much effort we've put into this project?" He became annoyed. "Sophia, I told you, this time it's Ruby's turn. You'll have plenty of chances in the future. Don't you trust my abilities? Why are you being so heartless now?" My blood pressure skyrocketed. My temples throbbed painfully. The world twisted, and my head felt like it was about to explode. I couldn't help but curse. "Go to hell, you." In a fit of panic and shortness of breath, I threw my phone, feeling like my vision was suddenly surrounded by a snowy white blur with only a buzzing noise in my ears. How strange. Why did the world suddenly turn sideways? My eyelids were so heavy, and my chest felt like a huge stone was pressing down, making it hard to breathe when I came to my senses again. A man was pressing his ear to my chest, sweating profusely with worry. He was checking my neck, pressing hard on my chest, and pinching my nose to give me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. "Miss Sophie, can you hear me? The ambulance is on its way. Everyone stay back. She needs fresh air." I wanted to say, "Please move away." My chest hurts from the pressure, but I couldn't make a sound. My eyes briefly opened for a few seconds before I was too exhausted to keep them open any longer. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. Chapter 5. When I woke up, my agent Nana was sitting by my bedside instinctively. I reached for my phone to check the time, but she quickly grabbed it and smiled gently. "Sophie, you need to rest now. The doctor said no phones." I sighed and lay back down. I knew what she was thinking. I was smart. No one could fool me. The trending topics must have exploded again today. I had such a meltdown, and those paparazzi who thrive on chaos would surely take the opportunity to write sensational stories. I thought of my favorite professor from university. Professor was serious and strict. Most of the students were afraid of her, but I loved attending her classes at graduation. She wrote a farewell message in the front page of my book. "I hope your works will one day become classic examples in textbooks." She understood me. She knew I had a genuine love for acting and the arts. I prided myself on being selective with scripts, carefully honing my acting skills, and putting my heart into every role, never wasting time elsewhere. That's why I remained in a state where my performances were popular. But I wasn't, ironically. The only 2 times I trended on social media were thanks to Ruby. Suddenly, I felt disillusioned with this industry. I wanted to quit. Nana mysteriously told me not to, saying there was a big surprise waiting for me. If I left now, I would surely regret it. Austin and I tacitly agreed never to contact each other again. To be honest, I never expected him to be so busy, yet still make time to attend a reunion. The reason I wanted to go to the reunion was simple, even a bit laughable. I just wanted to relive those memories of our youth through those old classmates. The years when we cried, laughed, and felt passionate. I remember when I applied for college. I chose a nationally renowned art academy, which happened to be in the same city as Austin. I had good looks and decent professional skills. And even before graduation, many production crews were reaching out to me. Austin was also outstanding as always. His projects frequently won awards and competitions, and he was soon selected by a major tech company. He celebrated my birthday by braving a blizzard in the capital, crossing half the city to bring me cake and gifts precisely at midnight. In the romantic candlelight, we kissed. I was so happy then, almost melting in his embrace. His kiss was tender and passionate. With my eyes closed, I silently made a wish. Sophia would be with Austin forever. But now I know very clearly that those times are gone. That cheerful boy, that man who kissed me and told me I was the only treasure in the world, is gone and will never come back. The weather is clear with the sky full of sunset glow. Today's sunrise was especially beautiful. I stood by the sea breeze, took off the ring I had cherished for years, Ruby has become the representative figure of the new generation of starlets. She knows how to create topics and stay in the spotlight, handling every interview with ease and skillfully playing her cards. That innocent and clumsy persona she showed before was just an act. Who says she has poor acting skills? I always thought Austin was smart, but now I see it was my own blindness. When a reporter asked her how she felt about becoming a dark horse and winning the Best Newcomer award, she casually gave a polished answer, not missing the chance to take a jab at me. In fact, I stay pretty relaxed because true excellence doesn't need a trophy to prove it. But winning is a recognition of my abilities. And of course, I'm very happy. As for some people losing their balance over it and getting hospitalized, I think that's an immature reaction. Instead of trying to steal the spotlight, they should work on their acting skills. Always look for reasons within yourself. Have you really put in the effort? Why haven't you become popular? I went through entertainment news from a while ago. There were pictures of me yelling into my phone and of me collapsing to the ground unconscious. Aside from a few who felt sorry for me, most were mocking and criticizing me. Big temper, small talent, fragile ego, can't handle not winning. She looks so ugly when she loses her temper. Aren't you all curious about who she was calling? Acting so arrogant? No wonder Nana didn't want me to see this. After fainting, I found out that I have a mild congenital heart defect. When I'm calm, I seem just like anyone else, but strong emotions can cause chest tightness and fainting. She was afraid of stressing my condition, but how long can I avoid it? Now, I'm undoubtedly the #1 blacklisted actress. I comforted myself, thinking even bad publicity is still publicity amidst the flood of insults. Only one person with a verified profile picture stood up for me, fighting off the critics in the comments. The person looked familiar. I clicked on the profile.
It was the man who saved me that day.
His name is Noah, and he's also a newcomer actor. Unexpectedly, I ran into Ruby again so soon. Clear Wind and Bright Moon was being adapted for the screen. This, the big surprise Nana had mentioned. I absolutely loved the script. I had been a huge fan of the original novel since its serialization. Every character in this book was vivid and full of life. During my school days, I followed each update closely, wrote countless long reviews, and spent my limited pocket money to support the author. Just to encourage quicker updates, I had cried my heart out holding the physical book on countless late nights upon hearing it would be adapted into a TV series. I excitedly told Nana that I would be willing to act in it even without pay. Nana predicted it would be a hit this year and used all her resources to secure a role for me, but Ruby landed the female lead, and I was cast as the supporting female character. Ruby arrived at the set every day in a nanny van, leaving right after her scenes were done, never staying a second longer. Sometimes, actors need to rehearse and practice their lines together, but she was always too lazy to cooperate. The ridiculous part was that since she was the lead actress funded by investors, no one would criticize her. One day, when it was my turn to act with her, she showed up late again. Filming summer scenes in winter was incredibly tough. Today's scene was an outdoor shoot. I had already finished my makeup and changed into summer clothes, even with an overcoat on. I was freezing. To make matters worse, Ruby delivered her lines haltingly. Clearly not having read the script carefully, the scene had to be retaken over a dozen times, and the extras were getting frustrated. Faced with everyone's dissatisfaction, she had the audacity to tell the director and screenwriter, "My lines are too long and hard to memorize. Can you shorten them? I think the scene shouldn't be arranged this way. It should be performed according to my understanding." After filming a few frontal shots, she simply had her stand and performed the rest of her scenes. Her assistant wrapped her in a thick down jacket, set up a space heater, and handed her a hot drink. She whined on the phone. "Austin, filming is so tough. If you hadn't told me this show would be a hit this year, I wouldn't have come."
Good.
"What's good about it?" "I was late because of traffic and then got hassled." "Who else but that always self-righteous person?" Okay, Austin, you're the best." Not long after my phone rang, I glanced at the familiar number and declined the call. When he called again, I turned off my phone. I could almost guess what he would say, and I was too annoyed to hear a word of it. Oh no, that feeling of chest tightness and panic was back. At that moment, a pair of warm hands steadily held my arm. "Sophie, are you okay? You don't look well. Sit down and rest for a bit." It was Noah. As a complete newcomer, getting to act in such a major production right after graduation means either he has impressive talent or an impressive background. He plays a supporting male role and has scenes with me, but his part comes later, and he just joined the crew yesterday. I took the opportunity to thank him, including his kind help the last time I fainted. For some reason, his face suddenly flushed a deep red, spreading quickly until even his ears turned bright red within a minute.
Oh.
That time. Don't mention it. I was there to watch the ceremony, and I didn't expect. I wasn't eavesdropping on purpose. The more he talked, the more confused he became, so he just shoved the hot chocolate he was holding into my hands and ran off. Oh, I get it. He must have remembered the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and CPR. How cute. I suddenly felt like laughing and took a sip of the sweet hot drink, feeling half of my anger dissipate. Noah was incredibly serious, to the point of being almost stubbornly meticulous. When the director explained a scene to him, he practically wrote down every word to avoid having visible breath on camera. He often held ice cubes in his mouth while delivering his lines. After a scene, his lips were red from the cold, even though he knew his lines well. He still pulled me aside to rehearse them over and over. I had never met someone more dedicated than I was. But it was clear how much he liked the tragic second male lead in this drama. It seemed we were both die-hard fans of the original novel. The series quickly aired using the currently popular web drama format, releasing 2 episodes every week. Unexpectedly, Noah and I playing the crazy couple supporting characters received rave reviews, even overshadowing the undisputed female lead. Ruby netizens praised us. "Oh my god, this crazy couple is amazing. They're like the Greek gods of sexual tension."
Great.
Even die-hard fans of the original novel are starting to ship this couple. Ladies, I have to say, even though Sophia has a fragile ego, her acting skills are really solid, and I've also become a fan of that new male actor. Meanwhile, many viewers kept complaining the male lead's performance is mediocre at best, but what is the female lead doing? Apparently, Ruby found memorizing lines too difficult, so she cut a lot of her dialogue and turned the strong female lead into a weak character. Did she really deserve that Best Newcomer award? If someone with her skills can win an award, I'd be devastated if I were Sophia, too. Let's be honest, Sophia is a top student from a professional acting school. While Ruby started working in the industry at a young age with little education, they can't be compared. Ruby saw the comments and threw a huge tantrum, crying in the set. After removing my makeup, I saw her eyes swollen and red from crying, whining into her phone. I'm so sad. Can you come see me? Soon. Austin came to visit the set. Ruby hadn't arrived yet, so the staff politely let him wait inside. He ended up blocking my way. I told him he could wait for Ruby in her private lounge, but he had no intention of leaving and instead asked Sophia, I came to see you. Is playing hide and seek fun for you? I took a step back and replied calmly, Where am I hiding? Didn't we just see each other at the reunion? Besides, why would I hide? I have nothing to feel guilty about. I'm just really tired of you. Austin gritted his teeth and grabbed my wrist. This is the first thing you say to me after months apart? He threw out a news article with a photo of me and Noah hugging tightly. Have you lost your mind? You just gained a bit of fame, and now you're involved with some greenhorn. Don't you care about your future? I glanced at the photo and laughed nonchalantly. What I do is none of your business, mister.
Goo.
His face turned white with anger. I bought the news to keep it from being published this time. Don't let there be a next time. What are you laughing at? Do you find this amusing? To think I always believed you were a smart person. I retorted without hesitation. Thank you. But I realized a long time ago that you are a complete fool. The so-called news was just a single picture with an entirely fabricated story. Noah and I were simply rehearsing a scene. We were just very into our roles. The fact that people were fooled shows how convincing our performance was. Why wouldn't I be happy? But I saw no need to explain anything to him. He could think whatever he wanted. Sophia. Austin was trembling with anger, his handsome face contorted. How could you find someone you like so quickly? What about our past? How could you treat me like this? I calmly replied, You look really ugly when you lose your temper. Since we've broken up, everything from the past is reset to zero. I don't know what you're thinking now, but there's no need to act like you still love me. That was all an act. I did it on purpose to make you mad. I was always the one chasing after you. You said you only liked the top student. You're a straight A student. And you excel at everything. But I'm a man. I need a woman's admiration and worship. It's exhausting always being your equal. I've worked so hard to reach this position. You could have relaxed a bit, but why wouldn't you rely on me? Say a soft word to me? Ruby shows her love for me, acts cute, pays attention to my feelings. She relies on me and needs me. Why can't you be like her? His eyes were red as he vented his frustrations all at once. I forced down the lump in my throat and stared into his eyes. So you used your influence to steal the Best Newcomer award that should have been mine? Is that also why you helped Ruby get the lead role in Clear Wind and Bright Moon? He gasped and took a step back, clearly not expecting my direct confrontation. He didn't know that the original author of Clear Wind and Bright Moon was my university mentor, Professor Lin. That's why I loved attending her classes. When I brought the book to her for a signature, she wrote a serious message in the front page. I hope your works will one day become classic examples in textbooks. Back then, several production companies were already approaching her for the adaptation rights. I knew this work would be adapted into a TV series long before Austin did, but I refused to use any connections or ask anyone for help. I was confident that my passion for the original work and my deep understanding of the character would ensure I succeeded in the audition. What I didn't expect was that Austin, for such ridiculous reasons, would use his influence to forcefully give the lead role to Ruby. I will never forget the day the director apologized to me. He said that as a director, his say is limited. However, the original author was highly skilled, and the supporting female character was well-rounded and complex, requiring a capable actress to handle the role. He believed it was a captivating and deep character, and he had high hopes for it. I knew the director was being sincere, so I accepted the role. Austin's eyes were slightly red as he struggled to stabilize his emotions before asking. I was just so angry. Why couldn't you be a little soft with me? Do you hate me and Ruby now? To be honest, when I saw Ruby blatantly transforming the heroine, I cherished into something unrecognizable. I couldn't help but detest her, but towards Austin, I shook my head. I don't even care enough to hate you. Hate is still a form of emotion. Seeing you now, I feel nothing. In that instant, Something seemed to shatter in Austin's eyes. He pulled me into his arms forcefully. "All right, Sophie, be good. I know I was wrong. Let's not fight anymore. From now on, whatever role you want, I'll do my best to get it for you. My company is about to go public on NASDAQ. Would you like to join me for the bell-ringing ceremony? You always liked being number one, right? My company is about to be the industry's top. Can we start over?" I struggled desperately to break free from his grip. "I don't." Before I could finish saying want to, a force pulled me away from Austin. "Didn't you hear Sophie say she doesn't want to?"
Get lost.
When Austin recognized the man in front of him as the one from the photo where I was tightly embraced, he flew into a rage. He strode over and grabbed Noah by the collar. Noah was not polite either. With a flick of his wrist, he firmly twisted Austin's arm. Austin grimaced in pain, but his words remained harsh. "If you don't care about your future, fine, but don't ruin Sophie's. She aims to make her mark in the history of sea country cinema." Noah laughed in anger. "You have the nerve to talk about her future. If you truly cared for Sophie, would you manipulate things to give her word to someone else and take away her cherished role? Being the same gender as you disgusts me." Austin looked guilty. Seizing this moment, Noah kicked him to the ground. Then he took my hand and, with earnest determination, said, "Don't think you're the only one who loves Sophie. I've loved her since college. My mom loves her too. Says Sophie is the best student she ever taught. I admire her dedication, her excellence, and I want her to keep being excellent, even if she doesn't rely on me. It's fine, but when she needs me, I will always be there." Austin sat dejectedly on the ground, tears finally rolling down his face. He murmured my name, pulling a dazzling diamond ring from his pocket. "Sophie, you're the only one I've ever given a ring to. We promised to be together forever." I didn't look back. Nothing was worth remembering anymore. Just like that ring buried at the bottom of the sea. Clear wind and bright moon finally wrapped up filming. The crew prepared 2 enormous custom-made bouquets and a wrap party for Noah and me. No one really paid attention to Ruby. Everyone harbored a grudge against her for ruining what they considered a classic. If it weren't for Noah and me holding things together, the show's reputation would have completely collapsed. Now, the audience's favorite topic of discussion is the tragic, crazy couple portrayed by the second male and female leads. They all say Noah and I brought these characters to life, especially after the episode where our characters died together in the raging fire aired. The internet exploded. The comments were filled with variations of "I'm crying my eyes out." So many people wrote long posts expressing their unresolved feelings. Some even started an online petition, hoping for a sequel focused on the second male and female leads. They found the main female lead too annoying and said they wouldn't mind if she wasn't included. With her first project after winning the Newcomer Award, Ruby's reputation completely collapsed. After wrapping up work, I went on vacation with Professor Lin and her family. After many years, Professor Lin had the idea of writing a new book and wanted to go out to find inspiration. She also felt that Ruby had ruined the character, but unfortunately, the rights had already been sold, and the original author no longer had the authority to select the cast. She planned to carefully craft her next work to make up for this regret. As soon as we got off the plane, I saw that I was trending on social media. #SophiaMorel2 timing hashtag. The accompanying photo was from the day Austin and Noah were fighting. Ruby liked and shared the post, adding a crying emoji. This happened on set with no outsiders present, so it was obvious who was behind it. Professor Lin said that some people were jealous of my rising fame and popularity. As a mentor, she wouldn't interfere in her students' personal matters. Besides, she knew my character and wouldn't believe the baseless smears online. She advised me to enjoy the vacation and not let those people ruin my mood. Unexpectedly, before I had a chance to clear things up, my classmates spoke out. They posted old photos and videos from years ago. The video was a clip from a trip we took together during the summer of our senior year. Young Austin, holding young Sophia's hand with pride, made a big V sign to the camera. I finally won over the talented Sophia.
Yay!
It took so much effort to win her over. I'll never let her go. He smiled and slipped a delicate silver ring onto my finger. Our classmates cheered and laughed, walking away together. The video quickly went viral with tens of thousands of shares. Wait, does this mean Ruby was the mistress all along? You terrible acting and a worse personality. There's no saving her. Please let her career be over. I don't want to see her trending anymore. Netizens aren't fools. They quickly figured out the truth. So the previous rumors were spread by Ruby. How the thief crying. Stop thief. Can we kick her out of the entertainment industry? Probably, because she provoked public outrage. Soon her scandals were everywhere. This included her throwing tantrums on set, frequently being late, and making the staff and extras wait in the freezing cold. There were also reports that most of her scenes were done by a stand-in. She refused to memorize her lines, and she arbitrarily changed the script. A popular influencer and extra took the opportunity to release a video. In the video, Ruby could be seen having her assistant feed her while she rolled her eyes and said, "If I wanted, I could win a grand slam. Who dares say I can't act well?" I think these audiences just don't deserve good entertainment. If her professional skills hadn't already collapsed, this time her reputation and public image were utterly destroyed. She had previously managed her image well and had secured many advertisements and endorsements for quick cash. The breach of contract penalties alone would be enough to ruin her. When I returned to the company after my vacation, Nana quietly told me that Austin was hospitalized. Hospitalized? My first reaction was to wonder if he was trying to create buzz for himself since his company was about to go public. Nana lowered her voice. It's really scary. The incident happened right outside your building.
What?
I immediately became tense. What happened? I had gone on vacation right after the show wrapped, and not many people knew about it. Austin was deeply saddened by Ruby's online smears against me and the videos my classmates posted. He couldn't reach me by phone, so he waited outside my building every day. Meanwhile, Ruby, entangled in lawsuits and financially ruined, was on the verge of a mental breakdown. She blamed everything on me, so she took a knife and went to my place to seek revenge. She encountered Austin downstairs, who was watching the video and waiting for me. The two argued, and in her desperation, Ruby pulled out a knife and stabbed Austin. Austin never expected her to go so crazy. Caught completely off guard, he was severely injured. Fortunately, he had the money to hire the best doctors in the country, who managed to save his life, but he definitely wouldn't be ringing the bell for his company's IPO. His secretary has contacted me several times asking if you could visit him. They said he regrets everything and hopes you would see him one last time for old time's sake. I waved my hand to interrupt her. Nana, you know my heart condition. I can't handle bloody scenes, and I don't want to do anything unnecessary. The memories of that summer are very distant. That boy who ran towards me, his white shirt billowing in the wind like a white sail. I have long since left the past behind, ready to set sail on my own. Thanks for watching this video.